Well, hey there, fellow Texans. Welcome back to the James Show. It's News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. I am your host, James Parker. Boy, however low you think of the media, I promise they're worse than that. You may think you hate the media. They deserve so much more. You are way too nice to these people. The coverage of yesterday's Minneapolis shooting. Now, you're not going to be surprised by this, but it's still just as a human being to see other human beings behave like this in the face of dead children. It's going to kind of break your heart a little bit. So the audio I'm going to play from you was all cut from the same time the James Show was on yesterday. Newsbusters did a rundown on this that I'm passing along to you. And one of the cuts, the cut from NBC, the cut from CBS, I'm going to play, actually happened in the 5 o'clock hour. So it was after the James Show yesterday. Just so you know, this wasn't in the first 5 minutes when we didn't know anything about the shooter. This wasn't in the first few hours when there were reports or internet rumors that were floating around, but it hadn't been confirmed yet. You and I talked about this for all 3 hours on the show yesterday. It had already been confirmed. With very little doubt. I mean, with almost as positive as you could possibly be on a first day story like that. About some of the aspects of the shooter. One of them was that he put "Kill Trump" and on his magazine, on one of the magazines for his guns, and then on the, I guess where you would put the optics in, kind of on the barrel, "Kill Trump now." So "Kill Trump" was on there a couple times. Also, the fact that he's of the trans community. Those are kind of important details, and we knew it. And it was part of, and it's not like the only thing that matters in the whole story, but these are two very important details that let you know about this guy's motive, let you know about this guy's political persuasion, let you know for the love of God, he's not a Trumper. And for the love of God, he's also part of a very, very small community that, if you include this detail, kind of really narrows it down to a special group that's been having debates in the court of public opinion across a swath of issues, whether it's bathrooms or the Olympics. But it gets left out in the reporting. It gets left out. Y'all just act like you didn't even know that. You don't even want your audience to know. You don't trust your audience with that information because what? You think they may react with some sort of antipathy toward your preferred group of people, toward some privileged special group. And it's hard to do this because I don't know how I can play you where they didn't cover it. So I can give you 90 seconds where they, or a minute where they go through the description of the suspect, and you can just notice that they leave those two very important details out. But ABC did it worse. So let me do CBS first. And I'm not going to play you from everyone. I'm just going to give you two clips here so you know I'm not just cherry picking one clip and pretending like that's the main train of thought across all the legacy old school media networks. But here's CBS News first. See what they leave out on the description.
CBS News has confirmed via multiple law enforcement sources that the gunman has been identified as 23-year-old Robin Westman. And right now, investigators combing through the social media, the online postings of the gunman here, determining exactly what timeline of events led up to the tragic incident that we saw today. Law enforcement officials have identified writings on the magazines of some of the weapons that were used by the gunman, hateful rhetoric, including words targeting the President of the United States, Donald Trump, invoking the Holocaust and threatening the lives of children. It also appears that the mother of the gunman was a former employee of Annunciation of the school who had retired a couple of years back. And so initially authorities had said there was no clear connection between the gunman and the school itself. Now it appears as though the mother of the gunman does have a connection with that school.
All right. So she didn't mention anything about trans, but at least she did mention some antipathy toward Trump. She didn't go so far as to say he wrote "kill Trump." She just said some criticisms of Trump, like, oh yeah, he's a threat to democracy, or he tries to steal elections, or he did January 6th or something. But no, there's at least a nod to it. Now, this next one, Aaron Katersky, ABC, You're going to hear this. He's going to leave out the trans thing too. But listen to how he inserts the Trump into his report. It almost sounds like the dude is pro-Trump, or it doesn't let you know either way if he's anti or pro-Trump. Just throws it in there, and boy, that's deceptive.
23-year-old Robin Westman was able to leave what police called a video manifesto that they're now going through to try and establish motive. We've also been going through it and can tell you there are crude diagrams of the church. There are also photos of the weapons, and they include all sorts of writings, the names of past mass shooters, criticism of Israel, the name of President Trump.
The
written
name
on the guns. There are also racial slurs, nihilistic statements, all painting the picture of a disturbed individual who carried out this mass shooting on the first week of school at the Annunciation Church in Minneapolis.
See, he almost tries to leave you with the impression that he was pro-Trump. Yeah, he had the name of Trump on there, then a bunch of racial slurs. You know, your regular old crazy white guy, probably MAGA. Christ, that is dishonest. Can you people just drop it? Can you drop the dishonesty? Because a lie by omission is still a lie. You leave out a very important detail about the motive and the demographics of this guy for only political purposes. That is sick. Like, that's a level of dishonesty that, all right, I'm not surprised that the media does it. We see them do it all day, every day. But not about dead kids. Not when they have 2 dead kids in front of them and 14 kids in the hospital. 14 kids and 3 more adults got shot, and you're still playing the political propaganda game, the lie by omission game. They're like, well, let's leave out this detail because that doesn't make our side look good. Drop it, people. We have dead kids. That's sick stuff. May I never be caught doing that. Good Lord. All right, coming up next, is it the guns? Because a lot of people want to come up with solutions, and if it's the old mantra, they want to take away your rights. If they wanted to take away yesterday, they're just exploiting this to I don't know, make you weaker, I suppose. I'll give you some of my solutions coming up next, but if you have any, 800-288-9227, 800-288-9227. I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. Hey there, welcome to the James Show, News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. I am your host, James Parker. So the Minneapolis shooting that happened yesterday, we were just mocking the coverage of it where they're leaving out some very important details. And these aren't incidental details. If you want to try and learn something from this situation and notice patterns and try and prevent this stuff or at least minimize this from happening in the future, you need to be honest with yourself about the causes, the motivations, the demographics that are doing this. This is one case where, your age matters, your gender matters, your race matters, your socioeconomic status matters, your orientation matters. Whatever info we can have to put together up on the chart to try and figure out what's going on here and get in front of this, that is necessary for the future of public safety. Now, the disappointing part, I think, did you hear this clip from Trey Gowdy? I think Vince played it yesterday, actually. Did Vince play this yesterday? Because if he didn't, I think Mark Levin played it too. But this is something, I expect this from someone on MSNBC. I expect this one from a politician with a D after their name. I expect this from the next montage of celebrities. It's the guns. We got to do something about the guns. I do not expect this from Trey Gowdy. Trey Gowdy, the Republican congressman, a guy who was swept in during the Tea Party wave. Remember that? He was one of those. And it's not just guns. He's just blaming white males. Okay.
Our system is reactive. Something bad happens, we react to it. And what people are crying for now is, how can we prevent this? How can we stop it? And the only way to stop it is to identify the shooter ahead of time or keep the weapons out of their hands. And so we're going to have a conversation of freedom versus protecting children. I mean, how many school shootings does it take before we're going to have a conversation about keeping firearms out? It's always a young white male. Almost always. I mean, did anyone this morning think, I wonder if that was a female? Did any of y'all think that? I mean, there's been one school shooting involving a female.
It was Tennessee.
One. Yeah, Tennessee. But other than that, it is usually young white males. They're
Yeah, I guess it's okay. You can just slander white guys all you want. Anybody going to call that racist? He was making a judgment about an entire group of people based on an immutable trait, their race. A negative judgment, just a generalization, just as straight up racist as it can possibly be. No one sees racism. He's not going to get called out for that. The people who saw racism in the Sydney Sweeney ad, who saw literally Hitler in the Sydney Sweeney ad, you don't see that's not racist to you? Why is it always white guys? It's always white males. Oh, okay, so misogyny or misandry, I guess it would be, because it's against guys. No concern about it there. Why not? Is that okay if it's against white males? That's all right. We can just say racist things. We can make blanket judgments, negative blanket judgments about entire groups of people based on immutable characteristics. Cool. But this comes from Trey Gowdy. This comes from a Republican. Thanks a lot. Did he bring up the shooter's orientation? Did he not know it? Bro, what is the difference between you and ABC and NBC that I just played, or ABC and CBS that I just played in the previous segment? I don't need you piling on me too. I don't need you ignoring quite obvious red flags. Thanks a lot. And he's just throwing out lefty talking points there, anti-gun talking points. Because he asked the question, and they think this is such a checkmate, this is such a slam dunk. How many school shootings do there have to be before we have a conversation about keeping guns out of the hands of... Here's the answer. All of them. Infinity. My rights are not up for debate. I don't care how many school shootings we have. You're not talking about how do we minimize the death to children once the shooting happens. You're talking about some sort of weird Minority Report thing, like that's even possible. That's not... Our justice system is reactive. You're damn right it's reactive. We don't have you get arrested before you commit a crime. This isn't the Minority Report. That's necessarily an inherent trait of a criminal justice system. It is by definition reactive. It's not criminal justice if you're running around taking guns away from people who you don't see fit to carry them. That's not criminal justice. That's a clear infringement of rights. That's unconstitutional. That's unethical. That does not fit the Enlightenment philosophers on whose thought process the Constitution was based. Having a reactive criminal justice system isn't even a bad thing. It's the most normal thing in the world. It's what it should be. And if it's more than reactive, you should be concerned. You shouldn't lose your rights if you haven't done anything wrong. Can we all agree to that? We have a whole bunch of constitutional professors when it comes to Abrego Garcia getting sent back to his homeland. Oh, jeepers, he didn't get his full complement of due process rights. Well, how many times has this guy been to court? We already know he's illegal. He already had a deportation order. It got stayed because of some BS asylum claim that he only filed after he got arrested, after he had been here for 10 years, after he beat his wife. She tried to get a protective order against him. You're constitutional purists when it comes to Abrego Garcia, but when it comes to every innocent person in America's gun rights, screw that. And this is coming from Trey Gowdy. You're supposed to be on our side, sir. Yeah, there's only two ways to stop it. No, there's another way to stop it. We learned it. We learned it at the Joel Osteen Church. When the crazy person who was an illegal immigrant, trans, free Palestine activist, checking all the boxes there, when she got there and she started squeezing off rounds, someone was there to pull out a gun and stop her before she killed anybody. By the way, another she. They're not all white males, are they? And you know they're not all white males. There's plenty of examples of black people and Hispanic people. There's even Asian people that have done mass shootings. So no, it's not always white males. Thank you very much. Can you stop being racist against me for 5 seconds? Can someone please just call it out? Hey, people out there who are listening who aren't straight white males, just imagine. Imagine what it's like if people cry about racism. They see racism in everything. They see it in a Cracker Barrel menu. They see it in a Sydney Sweeney jeans ad. But then when real racism is said against you, no one cares. 800-288-9227, 800-288-9227. More response from the Minneapolis shooting yesterday coming up on The James Show. Snooze Talk 820 and 93.3 FM, WBAP. Hey there, welcome to the James Show, News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. I am your host, James Parker. At the same time the James Show was starting, the Minneapolis police had a press conference to update on the shooting that happened yesterday. And I was going through that because I DVR'd it, and I was just skipping through to the question and answer point. And the guy that's giving the answer here is the acting U.S. attorney that's going to be handling this case. And he's asked if this is going to be considered a hate crime, which I thought is probably a pretty important question that you would want to know the answer to. So this was his response.
I haven't talked to Director Patel, but certainly there's evidence of hate. As I mentioned, the shooter expressed hate towards meeting groups, including the Jewish community and including President Trump. So obviously, as in most cases where there's a mass shooting at a house of worship or a school, federal law enforcement will work with state and local law enforcement to investigate to make sure what happened. We know what happened and we prosecute as appropriate.
All right. So did you get that? That sounded kind of like a yes, but it's also so vague in a way that sort of reminds you that hate crime laws are dumb. It's such a subjective thing. Like anyone lovingly does a mass shooting. Like murder isn't bad enough. Oh, well, he also was guilty of these thought crimes. How about we just give him the death penalty or put him in an insane asylum or whatnot? Why does that change your view on this? Well, whether or not he was hate-filled, what do you think? He was just a really bad shot and he missed his target and accidentally hit kids? Strange. But also, it points out to where, okay, this is a hate crime. What's it called? Christophobia? We don't even have a word for when the oppression goes the other way. Well, what is it when you're racist against white people? Anyone ever called a black supremacist? Have you ever heard any shooter called a black supremacist? How rare is that? Is there a heterophobe? Is there a response? Is there a reciprocal term for that? 800-288-9227, 800-288-9227. This is John and Kemp. You're on WBAP.
Yes, sir. Thank you for taking my call, James.
Thanks for calling.
Hey, I've got a two-part question for you. I've heard a little bit about these videos that whatever this was that was putting the videos on, and he or she or whatever. But how long, do you know, I've not heard how long, was it a day, weeks, a month, that this person had been putting these terroristic threats online?
The terroristic threats came on just a few hours. Like it was still dark outside, or maybe he's just in a windowless room. But he posted it. The term is hours. So I think it was in the early morning of the shooting. And there was other videos on his channel. Some of them were really boring. Like I watched as much as I could before they took it down, and then some other terminally online people like me had clipped it. And so I got to see there's this one where he's reading the manual that came with his microwave or some other appliance. It's really weird. And
wow. Yeah.
So, you know, one of the things that makes me pause on like the whole anti-trans angle on this guy's just a psycho. He is like, and I don't mean that as a euphemism. Like he probably meets the textbook definition of a psychopath. He didn't seem to be abused. You know, it's not like a beat dog who now just wants to light a match and watch the world burn. He was born with a malfunction, and about 2% of us are born like that. About 2% of us are capable of killing people like that.
I wonder if was he on some medication or something like that? I'm asking this because what you said about being a psycho, and I understand you didn't mean it. I understand how you meant it. But I wonder, when he had his background, if he bought these firearms legally, is that not part of the background check they do on us when we buy a firearm to see if we're on some kind of medication like whatever that stuff is? I mean, I don't know.
See, now this is why I don't like background checks at all. We got to get rid of these Because what happens if we do start? What happens if that's someone's solution there? Well, if you have any antidepressants in your background, then you can be denied buying a gun. That means they can strip the gun rights away from anyone who's ever taken one Prozac. And how many of us is that? I mean, what, like 20% of us have taken some, 30% of us? I don't know what the number is, but how many of us have had some sort of, mentally attached prescription or drug use? Period, point blank in his story. And so what is my dad? My dad took Prozac. Is he going to lose his gun rights? He's like a 73-year-old Vietnam vet. He's not going to do anything to anybody. Should we give him a hard time over buying a gun? Absolutely not. Now, was he on SSRIs is what a lot of people bring up in these mass shootings? I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if he was, but I'm not so sure if, that's the cart leading the horse there, because, it's not that SSRIs make people into crazy folks. It's that we give crazy folks SSRIs. So I'm not sure if they're to blame or they're just a detail that's going to necessarily pop up, because that's what we do with crazy people like this these days. We don't go put them in the one flew over the cuckoo's nest. We don't tell them that, these fantasies you have in your head are wrong. We just encourage it and go along with it. And you just be you and get a participation trophy. And this is where we're at.
Yeah, that makes sense. I didn't think about it. You're right, though. If somebody just took something for a few months or whatever,
Well, no one would go get help. Think of all the veterans that come back from theaters of war that need some help. Everyone would be scared to go get therapy. Everyone would be scared to go to the psychiatrist for fear of getting help, because then you would lose your gun rights. And even if you didn't, they would expand it to where if you went to a psychiatrist and he recommended SSRIs and then gave you the prescription, but you didn't fill it or take it, are we just going to, incrementally creep on our rights like that? Well, look, he's crazy enough that he needed them. We'd probably take him. It'll never end. And the killings won't stop. You'll just have an erosion of your rights. All great questions.
Why I like to listen to you. You always know a good answer, and you're right. I agree with you 100% on that. I didn't think about that part of it.
Oh, you're so nice. Yeah.
Well, my second part of my first question was, which you pretty much already answered it, that they'd only been on there for a few hours. I thought these sites, YouTube or whatever, X or whatever, they have something that monitor for terroristic threats, or it throws a flag up and then it gets sent to someone else to investigate it.
Even if he didn't do the shooting, correct? That's something that probably would have been taken down within hours. But also, he wrote it in the Cyrillic alphabet, English words, but with the phonetic Cyrillic alphabet. So I'm not sure if any AI scan would have picked it up. Man, John come with the great questions. 800-288-9227. We'll continue talking about this. And also, we got to look at the economy. The second quarter just got revised. And, one of the headlines that they're not going to be quick to tell you is the economy is booming. Details next on The James Show. News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. Hey there, welcome back to the James Show, News Talk 820 93.3 FM WBAP. I am your host, James Parker. My next guest, also a host here on WBAP. You can hear him on the weekend, Spencer McGowan from Net Worth Radio. Welcome back to the James Show. I wanted to have you on today because we got a revision for the second quarter's GDP growth. It got revised up 0.3%. So it went from 3% growth is what was initially reported to 3.3% now, 10% higher than we thought just a few weeks ago. So how good is the economy, Spencer? Right. And so we have GDP growth going up. And, I'm not sure if it's going to be able to go much higher than this for the second half of the year. But if we can just maintain this, then I think things are going to be pretty good. Okay. So do we need to make any changes? A lot of us aren't really actively investing. We're just sort of putting money in a 401k or IRA. Should just the regular guy do anything in response to this news? Yeah, every dollar you don't have to spend complying with some regulation could go to profit, or maybe just saving your company there. I'm trying to find some negative warning signs before the end of the year, and really we have a pretty clear pathway forward. The tariff thing doesn't seem to be shaking anyone up anymore. Inflation seems to be somewhat under control. The only negatives I can see here, and help me out if I'm missing something. Number one, the end of the fiscal year, we could have another government shutdown fight, and and that would be at the beginning of October, and we still don't have a long-term deal with China set up as far as trade goes. Other than that, am I just too optimistic over here? So I'm expecting a little bit of a sugar high from the Fed lowering rates next month, which pretty much everyone's expecting. However, when he made that statement last week and we got a little bump from him, sort of doing the what's it called? Foreshadowing on the next rate hike. Could the next bump already be built in? Well, it's not done yet. No, I'm just saying the market days. We still got 30 minutes. Don't jinx them. All right. Well, it's good chat and a good reason to have a chat. Positive economic news. It's not going to be really trumpeted too much by Team Blue media. So thank you very much. Yeah, what are they building? A football stadium? Thank you very much, Spencer McGowan. Catch him on the weekends here on WBAP or networthradio.com. Plus, he has the McGowan group during the week and the cool little offices over at the Crescent. Fun stuff. We'll continue talking about the booming economy next on The James Show. News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. Well, hey there, fellow Texans. Welcome back to the James Show. It's News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. I am your host, James Parker. Welcome back to the big show. If you're just joining us, I just concluded a good chat with my buddy Spencer McGowan. You hear him on the weekends here on WBAP. And we're talking about the great economy that's happening. Now, for obvious reasons, the same reasons they're not going to tell you all the specific details about the shooter who murdered kids yesterday. They're also going to lie by omission when it comes to how good the economy is. How many headlines did you get out of the legacy media, the old-fashioned media, the abacus media, when the stock market went down in April? How many negative headlines did you get when the stock market went down for a little bit at the the first month of Trump's term? There was a little bit of a downturn, right as he was walking into office, and just a few days after that. It wasn't anything as catastrophic as what happened during April. I mean, April, the markets did shed about 20%. But how many people out there know that the markets not only gained all of it back, surpassed where it was at April, surpassed the previous records that were set, I think, in February, and now is setting all-time high records? How many people I know you know this. You're listening to WBAP. You're a good informed citizen. You are rare. Look out your window. See those people out there? How many of them do you think knows that? So this is why they do it. This is why they omit the good news, because it works. It works when you omit good news and you only tell bad news. The people whose worldview already starts off with Trump bad, Orange Man bad. When you give them confirmation bias style headlines, it's going to be a lot easier for them to swallow. When you report economy's going down, they're like, yes, that's right, Orange Man bad. That's what I know, Orange Man bad. Now, if you were to be honest and report, hey, the economy's at all-time highs again, and then you had to repeat that headline about every third day for the last 2 months, there might be a little bit of a short circuit. I thought Orange Man bad, economy good, Orange Man not bad for economy. You'd blow their little automaton minds. Their little thoughtless brains would melt. But that's how it works. And I'm sorry. The bad news is it works. Their bias works. Their lies by omission. Man, it works. Actually works pretty damn good. Now, you were told that the economy is going to be crashing soon. Yes, Donald Trump is in power, and so you can just expect everything to get pretty bad pretty quick. How's it going? Is it bad? How's it going? Is the economy... what about your 401k? What about your IRA? When there was a downturn in January and the downturn in April, you saw the headlines. People's retirements are being wiped out. What about now? Oh, people's retirements are stronger than ever. That's not important? It's only important when they're bad? So let me give you some of the details behind the headlines that are being ignored. Number one, they just revised the second quarter GDP. You were told when the original estimate came out that the economy grew at a 3% rate in the second quarter. That's now been bumped up to 3.3% from April to June. So when you look at the GDP at 3.3%, there's no way you can swing that negative. There's no way you can. It's going to be like, even for the AP, even for an MSNBC, for you to report on this at all, how do you take a negative angle on this? It's really tough. So what did they do? They just don't report on it at all. Now, they'll be happy to get back to reporting on the economy when things go bad, when they can put out headlines that reinforces Orange Man bad. But they're not going to touch this one. Why? Because they're dishonest. They can't. They can't have their worldview stand in the face of the truth. That's all. Meanwhile, I'll tell you, go check your IRA. It's doing great. It's probably doing better than it ever has. We're flirting with records right now. Check it. See how it's doing. How's your retirement? How is it compared to last year or 5 years ago? What about inflation? Did you notice that's cooled a little bit? Not running as hot as it previously was for the last 3 years or so? No, not getting a whole lot of reporting on that. See, these things matter. Because I'll admit, some of the stuff we talk about on this show doesn't affect you one whit. The serial creeper that was asking women lewd questions in Uptown that we talked about on Monday's show. Look, unless you're one of those women or know one of them, that doesn't affect you. It's an interesting story. It's a story that deserves some attention, and we would all like to see justice be meted out to this guy, but it doesn't affect you. This does, and it still gets ignored. 800-288-9227, 800-288-9227. Coming up next, we'll talk with Michelle Schultz. She does international trade law, and we'll talk about what happened to all the catastrophe that was supposed to happen with this tariff situation, because things seem to be going pretty good. I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820 and 93.3 FM WBAP. Hey there, football fans. The big weekend's finally here. High school starts on Friday. College starts this weekend as well. The big boys start next week. And if you haven't already downloaded the Prize Picks app, I highly encourage you. It just adds a little bit more fun to the football that you already love. And you can do it with America's #1 daily fantasy sports app, Prize Picks. James Parker here. Look, I downloaded the Prize Picks app, and I was using it last season. And it has a couple things that I wasn't expecting. Now, I've played regular fantasy sports where once a week you can submit your lineup, and hopefully you can maybe win out of all your friends every once in a while. But on Prize Picks, you could win every weekend. On Prize Picks, it's just you against the numbers. You're not even playing against anybody. So on Prize Picks, it also surprised me that, look, I'm a big baby, and I worry I'm going to set this lineup, and they're going to go out there, and on the first drive, my guy's going to get hurt, and then I'm screwed. No, they actually have a flex play option to where if your guy gets hurt in the first half and doesn't come back, they're not going to count that against you. It also lets you do flexible lineups where if I want to make a lineup of 5 people, but only 4 of them are correct, I still win the lineup. So go check it out. It's got a whole lot of bells and whistles that's way beyond and better than just your regular fantasy sports. This is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. And if you download the Prize Picks app today, use code WBAP, you get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code WBAP to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Hey there, welcome to the James Show, News Talk 820 93.3 FM WBAP. I am your host, James Parker. When we look at the situation with the economy right now, I like to go back about 6 months or so ago. What were certain people saying? Well, I have one person here who is predicting recession in January.
I just tweeted not too long ago about the fact that our unemployment numbers are going to go up. We are headed for a full-on recession. And that is not me trying to be an alarmist. That is me trying to get you to pay attention.
Jasmine Crockett, queen of the liberal tea.
Peach blonde, bad built butch body. Governor Hot Wheels. And he is a hot ass mess, honey.
Queen of the liberal tea.
Fast forward to today, the second quarter GDP, not only is it above 3%, it just got revised even higher. So no, not only are we not in a recession, we're getting further and further from a recession every day. My next guest is going to know a lot about this international trade issues we got going on. Michelle Schultz back on from Schultz Trade Law. Welcome back. I haven't heard a lot about tariffs in the headlines, but they're still floating out there. What does the tariff situation look like now? Oh, I got to do this.
And kicking. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am. I hit the wrong button. Go ahead.
No problem. Okay, yeah. So they're still alive and kicking, and there's continued movement on tariffs. So the big news is tomorrow we're going to see de minimis exceptions going away, which means that packages that were duty-free because they were under $800, as of tomorrow, will no longer be duty-free. We're also seeing...
Hang on. First off, you get credit for teaching me, I guess it's Latin today, de minimis. De minimis.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Yes, I'm teaching you Latin today. So there's a minimum amount. And when U.S. importers have imported small packages in the past or low-value items, there was always a de minimis or a minimum amount where you had to pay duties. So you could bring in small, low-value items like those Sheen clothes or something for
right.
No duties. Now the duties will go up. We're going to have duties not just on China, but every country, and there's no low threshold. So there's no $800 doesn't get you out of it anymore.
So we also have some the biggest guy, China. We don't have that resolved yet. We've kicked the can, and I think the last time you gave him like another 30 days or 90 days, or I don't even know where that deadline is. Do you know that off the top of your head?
Yes, it's in November. So November 10th, the reciprocal tariff, which is the tariff that just got increased from April to August, that reciprocal tariff will go up to 34% for China on November 10th.
So do we expect a deal to be reached before that, or like clients of yours already just doing business expecting that to happen in November?
Many clients, I'd say probably most, are expecting that to happen, and many are experiencing tariffs now already because some of the other tariffs still apply and still stack. We have what they call Section 301 tariffs, and
I don't
those
know
are
what that
for
means.
Yeah. Yeah, no, most people don't. They're the ones that apply to China for specific goods due to national security, due to unfair trade practice concerns. Those still apply. And we still have fentanyl tariffs. So in extreme cases, we're seeing tariffs even now stacking on top of each other to reach close to 100%.
All right, Michelle Schultz, is there anything the average person needs to do in reaction to this, a small business owner or anything like this, or does this only really affect people with international trade?
To me, it affects everyone because the increase in tariffs is impacting all supply chains, all importers, small and large, and it's trickling down to consumers already. So you're going to start seeing higher prices on things like clothing or items imported from, even from even from countries you didn't think about, like Australia. There'll be tariffs on small items, and that's where it really hits the individual ordering through Amazon or wherever we're ordering through.
Have companies been successful in already resourcing some of their inputs from countries that have deals?
Some of them have, some have not. There are companies that have a sole source situation and that are at risk of going under because they can't resource to another country. Some of them just can't overcome the tariffs at all from any country. We're looking at a baseline of still 10% for most every country.
What countries are in the clear now?
I'd say probably best is the UK. The UK is doing well. They've negotiated an agreement with the U.S. for minimal tariffs, and also the civil aircraft agreement remains in place for the UK, and that's kind of special because civil aircraft parts are going to become very expensive, and particularly for China. That's one thing that the president has mentioned, that imports of aircraft parts from China, he can increase that tariff if China doesn't cooperate, and that will be a big deal.
All right, this is Michelle Schultz from Schultz Trade Law. Appreciate your international trade expertise on the James Show. How do they find you online?
You can find us at schultztradelaw.com, and that's SCHULZ.
No T. Right. All right. There you go. Thank you very much, Michelle.
Thank you, James. Great talking with you.
And make no mistake, the economy's booming. There's very few hurdles, at least through the rest of the year. We're not going to have a tax increase at the end of the year like we were going to have. The tariff thing doesn't seem to be freaking people out. Go out, enjoy it, have a good time. Coming up next, there's a Texas teacher. She just pleaded guilty to 10 counts for having an affair with a student. She's going to get no jail time. And is she getting off easy because she's hot? And if so, what is wrong with us? I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820 and 93.3 FM, WBAP. Hey there, welcome to the James Show. You're listening to News Talk 820 93.3 FM WBAP. Listen, guys, I need you to be mature with me for the next 10 minutes. Ladies, I know you're already going to be fine with this. You don't disappoint me in this subject like guys do. My fellow man out there, we're dumb. Our brains get turned off when it comes to some situations like pretty women here. But we have a teacher in Texas who just pleaded guilty. Is it pled guilty or pleaded guilty? I don't care. I don't know. I've heard both. Don't at me. But it's a 12-count indictment over this now former teacher's adult activities with a female student. Now, she's in high school, so it's illegal. Should be illegal. But this was sort of an ongoing thing. And it's not like your normal situation here where, you know, someone just sent a wayward text message or asked an inappropriate question. They consummated on several occasions their affair, and I'm not going to get graphic with this, but like there was a cucumber involved and it wasn't for lunch, and that's all I'm going to say about that. And just because I mentioned that, I can hear men's brains turning off. Guys, fight it. Fight against your stupid animal instinct and be serious for a while. Because the real thing that gets brought up that I still don't have an answer for, you don't have an answer for. But why do we treat this so much differently than if it was a guy? If it was a male teacher who had misused a vegetable on your daughter, you'd want him thrown under the jail. We'd be talking about the electric chair, wouldn't we? You'd be another one of those, well, we just need to bring him up in front of the town square and tie him up against the pole and shoot him. No, stop. Why is that? Guys, why does your brain turn off? And look, women, you too. You're not nearly as upset about these. I don't have an avalanche of women sending me emails about this story. Oh, I hate it when this happens. This is disgusting. This is horrible. She should be thrown under the jail. And I don't have an excuse, but I do have an explanation. This woman's very attractive. That shouldn't matter. And you know it. But it does. The fact that you haven't even heard about this story. And there's no outrage about this. You know damn well if it had been a Baptist preacher, you'd hear about it. Why is that? Explain to me. Because I definitely don't know how to fix it because I can't even diagnose the disease. 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. I'm sorry I don't have all the answers on this one. Bill in Mesquite, you're on WBAP. Help us out.
Yeah, what it is like you said, it's an attractive woman with a male student.
No, it was a female student.
Oh, it's an attractive woman with a female student. Oh, okay. Well, that's even different, I guess you might say.
I know we are children. I can turn it off when I'm doing a radio show, but I know what my instincts are telling me, and I know what other guys say, and I know what callers have said for the last 23 years of doing radio and the emails and the Facebook messages, and be like, if that was my son, I'd give him a high five and all that. Why?
It's taking everything I got to hold it in. I know what you're saying.
I can hear it, bro. I can hear it. See, and you're even laughing. A child was abused by an adult. It's not funny, Bill.
Funny. You're right.
Well, what's wrong with us, Bill?
It's not funny.
What's wrong with us?
Because you know what? It's wrong because she's an adult and the student was a minor. First of all,
now I hear that this is the left brain of Bill trying to explain logically that the right brain shouldn't be enjoying this story.
You're exactly right on that one, but I'm trying to make sense of it here.
Me too. I'm not much better.
I don't understand why they're letting her off of the charges though, because you're right. If it was a man with a woman or whatever, it would be the other way around. They'd be putting him in jail, and it would, people would be protesting everything else. So, yeah, I don't get it.
I don't get it, and I'm guilty of the crime too. And it kind of ticks me off because I pride myself in being a logical person who can divorce himself from the emotion and then just look at the numbers and the situation and the philosophical backing. And I wasn't fooled by all the emotion around COVID. I wasn't fooled by all the emotion around the George Floyd riots. I wasn't fooled by all these other emotional topics, but this one, I have no explanation for it, Bill. Men are just.
Was this you said it was in Texas?
Yes.
Oh, we're at Texas.
What, you gonna go look up her page, Bill?
No, but I just I'm curious. I live in Dallas. I was wondering if it's somewhere around here.
No, it was Brazosport, just south of Houston, about
Okay.
40 miles.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know, James. I mean,
we're stupid. I don't have any other.
Exactly right. We're stupid.
And guys are worse than women on this, but women, you are guilty in part on this too, because I don't see any female outrage over this. I don't see any females demanding like, hey, we need equal treatment here. You want equality when it comes to the boardroom or when it comes time to get your paycheck, but when it comes to go to court and someone's swinging a gavel, y'all start twisting up ponytails and being like, what? Just little old me? I'm not a big predator, not like them big scary men. I'm just cute little. It's dumb. I don't get it, and it ticks me off. The cognitive dissonance ticks me off. Because Bill knows it's wrong. I know it's wrong. And when you read it in a sentence, a Texas teacher pleaded guilty to sexually assaulting an underage female student multiple times. You're like, oh my God, well, prison for that guy. Oh no, it's a chick. Oh, well, let's not jump to conclusions here, fellas. Let me see what a picture of what she looks like. Oh, okay, well, that changes everything. No, we know it's wrong. But we do it anyway. It's like eating dessert, like ordering dessert at the restaurant. You don't need those calories. You don't need to spend another $8 plus tax. You don't need to spend any more time shoving more calories in your face, but you still get it, don't you? You didn't need to watch another episode of the show you're binging last night. You needed to go to bed 30 minutes before you did, but you watched another one anyway. We're broken. Being a human being is just so weird sometimes. I don't like it. I don't like being able to explain my own brain. All right, coming up next. Call me cynical. Maybe I'm jumping the gun here, but we're going to talk to a divorce attorney about the engagement of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820 93.3 FM WBAP. Hey there, welcome to the James Show, News Talk 820 93.3 FM WBAP. I am your host, James Parker. So as far as the big news goes on the Taylor Swift Travis Kelce engagement, as far as their prospects for marriage go, first I give it 6 months. I'm kidding. I'm not that cynical. I hope these two kids fall in love and stay together forever, and we have to hear about all their babies and the future specials when they're hosting some award show or whatever. I'm looking. Oh yeah, the Britney Spears. You really you keep up with celebrity marriages, Garrett? Because I think isn't that the shortest celebrity marriage? Britney Spears, 55 hours. What a lucky guy. Well, I'm sure my next guest is going to have some strong opinions about this. Jennifer Hargrave's coming back on Hargrave's Family Law. That's a very nice way of saying she's a divorce attorney, y'all. Yes, we call it family law. When your family gets ripped in half with a chainsaw, we call that family law. Welcome back to the show, Jennifer. How fun. All right, Jennifer, I'm Travis Kelce. I come to you. I'm like, hey, I'm about to get married to Taylor Swift. Should I make her sign a prenup? And let me guess, you're going to say that'd be better advice for Taylor. Man, I saw a wild prenup story. I think I even had to bring you on to talk about it. And this was like 6 months ago, where some fella was picking up a second wife because he was done with the old starter model. And he made her sign a prenup that says, for every kid that you give me, you get $100,000. Should we get a divorce or something crazy like that? Or maybe it was $1 million, but it was like a lump sum. And they had built all these incentives into the prenup. Now I've seen incentives built into like a trust, but the incentive structure was something that was new to me. What would you recommend Taylor or Travis put in for incentives? Oh, what does that look like? It's like if you cheat on me, you get nothing. Is that what it is? Whoa, you can do that? You can do that? Who are these heroes? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I got excited. Hey, we've seen that one too. We've seen that one. Did I talk to you about the weight guy? Yeah, there were there. Well, maybe I divorced my divorce attorney. No, but no, I remember the weight guy story too. Because if they took the weight she was when they got married, and if she put on 20 pounds, she would lose like X amount of dollars in the act of a divorce. And you won't believe this, they actually did get a divorce, and that got upheld in court. Yeah, I thought those kids were going to make it, but yeah. So you can or can't write that in there. Can you say if we get divorced, you're not allowed to write an entire album of songs about it? Because she loves him so much. Because they're not going to get divorced. That's never going to be enforceable because we're never going to get divorced. You don't have to worry about me writing an album called The Divorce. Yeah. breakup. Yeah. Well, she also has the specter of future earnings. She's always going to be getting royalties for all these 6,000 hit songs that she's had. He's only going to be a tight end for a few more months, and his income is going to go to God knows what for the rest of his life. So she's really in the driver's seat on this. Anything you'd recommend? All right, we're talking with Jennifer Hargraves, Hargrave Family Law. She's a divorce attorney. Jennifer, how many divorces have you had? Is that a dodge or you're not going to answer? That's what I was asking. See, that makes me suspect, right? Like I don't trust a skinny chef. And I've noticed like I have had other friends that have like marital issues and I am so worthless because I haven't been through any of that and you haven't either, but this is kind of your job. So that's got to be a weird juxtaposition because people are like, "Well, what happens when you fall out in love or, you have a dead bedroom or you're not getting along anymore?" So I don't know, dude. I don't know. I don't know how to. All right. Well, congrats on that. Yeah, and to your earlier point, of course, Travis and Taylor are listening to the James Show right now. Thank you very much, Jennifer Hargrave. Find her online, Hargrave Family Law. The Texas Rangers need you to come out and get as loud as you can. They're going to take on the Houston Astros Sunday, September 7th, Globe Life Field. So not only do you get to see our in-state rivals, it's also Pokemon Go Day at the ballpark. So not this Sunday, but next Sunday. Pokemon Go Day. Fans who purchase their tickets through rangers.com/theme nights, you get an exclusive Rangers Pokemon Go t-shirt. Or if you want to try and win some tickets from us, you can text the word Rangers to 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. Coming up next, a North Texas sheriff's in trouble for sexual harassment, and it's even dumber than it sounds. I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820 and 93.3 FM WBAP. Hey there, fellow Texans. Welcome back to the James Show. News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. I am your host, James Parker. Welcome back to the big show. Well, the big story nationally, obviously, the Minneapolis shooting is getting probably the plurality of news coverage right now. Another huge story that's getting almost no news coverage right now, nationally speaking, is the economy. And that really should be getting more. But as we look at what's going on in our own backyard, hang on a second. Go ahead.
We have a little bit of breaking.
Hang on. This is Bruce. The boss just walked in.
Bruce just walked in. Rumors are, and I can almost confidentially report this, the Cowboys have traded Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers.
Thanks for ruining my day. Thanks for ruining my life. Are we even watching the season now? Are we just done? Is that it? It's over? That's just before it even starts? You're gonna let that guy go? All right. Well, thanks for taking me off. I don't need details on this. Look, even if we got good stuff for him, did we get another player? Or did we get a bunch of draft picks?
Don't know yet.
Yeah, don't know yet. So, all right, I don't know how I feel about this. If we got like 8 number 1 draft picks for the next 8 years from Green Bay, maybe I'd be okay with that. But somebody tick somebody off because he's a good player. All right, I'll dig up what I can find on that, and I'll update you in the next segment. But one of the stories that a lot of people are talking about here in your own backyard, it comes from a local sheriff who. A couple funny things about this. Number one, it's a sexual harassment story, and of all the counties, it's out of Johnson County. Really? Jesus. So was Peach County already taken? But also, I am just so blown away by these sexual harassment stories from guys who are just ugly. Like, it shouldn't matter, and it doesn't excuse it if Denzel Washington's hitting on you. But, like, bro, who do you think you are? Do you realize what you look like? This guy looks like Bigsby from Trainspotting, which that doesn't mean anything to you. It's just an ugly dude. It's just a little wormy dude with a creeper mustache and thin hair, kind of skinny, kind of gaunt face. And this is the guy that's running his mouth to women who work for him? Like, this isn't even like, oh, well, not in the age of Me Too. No, before Me Too, this would have been like, what are you doing, dude? The story from our news partner, WFAA.
Lawman accused of being on the wrong side of the law this midday. The Johnson County Sheriff indicted on felony charges, accused of sexual harassment and abuse of power.
Sheriff Adam King is facing 2 felony counts of retaliation against a witness and a misdemeanor charge of abuse of office tied to sexual harassment. The affidavit details repeated unwelcomed sexual advances and verbal harassment towards female employees, commenting on their weight, their clothes, even their makeup. In one case, King allegedly told an employee she'd have to, quote, disrobe before he'd sign paperwork. Another time after she lost weight, he told her, quote, you're going to make me do some ungodly things to you.
What?
Now, it also says King often singled out female subordinates for one-on-one closed-door meetings inside his office that sometimes lasted hours. When employees spoke up, investigators say King retaliated. The affidavit says he threatened to handcuff and jail a woman who reported him and even went after a male deputy who cooperated with investigators. Now, King turned himself in here at the jail yesterday. Our crews were here when he posted a $25,000 bond and left in his county-issued truck.
All right, now, again, let me put in some proper context here. We are in 2025, and we live in the wake of the Me Too movement. And ladies, if you hadn't figured out, guys are scared as hell to say anything related to what was just mentioned in that story at work. Like, if anyone ever accuses me of sexual harassment, they are lying. I am so scared to talk to not just females, just anyone at work. Like this, and it's not just this job. For my last 3 jobs, I just go in there and I don't want to be friends with any of you people. No, I do not want to hang out after work. No, we are not going to have conversations or answer questions. I'm not going to ask you any questions. You can comment about me all day, every day. You can say anything you want. about my race, my religion, my gender, my orientation, whatever. I ain't going to say nothing back, though. I do not ever want to go into an HR meeting for any reason whatsoever. I want to be so divorced from the social life of this work environment that anybody who tries to raise a stink, people will know that they're lying. But let's go ahead and, besides that context, let's imagine Me Too never happened. Bro, you're still doing this? Do you not realize that you're gross? And this is for all men. You're not Brad Pitt. You are not Josh Duhamel. Whenever you say these things that you think sound cool, that you see people say in movies, or you see maybe it worked for you in college, it doesn't work anymore. And it's not anything you did wrong. It's just one of the negative experiences about being a guy is that you're disgusting after about age 30 or 40. And in a way that you weren't before. Because look, if I'm like 20, if 24-year-old James even walked in, and, I was in a business meeting and I was talking with the sales lady and I was trying to work out a deal. And I was like, that dress looks great on you. It'd be like, hey, it's a young guy, he's got the juice, he's flowing. It's kind of flattering, that he thinks of me like that. It's pretty cute. If I say that now, I lose the deal. You understand we're gross, guys? Like I have a little gray hair growing in on the side, which means I don't get to go to clubs anymore. I don't get to hit on chicks anymore. I don't even get to compliment girls anymore without being a creep. Now, that's something that it just horrifies me. Like the worst insult you could give me right now is if like a young lady said, ooh, gross, right? Like that's the last thing I want to hear. So I don't want to put myself in that situation where I say, oh, well, you've lost so much weight. I want to do ungodly things to you. You think the lady goes, oh, that's so flattering. Her, oh, well, if you weren't married, I'd let you. No, what they do is they turn around and they go, that is so gross. I can't believe you said that to me. That's disgusting. That's who you are, dude. You're not cool. This is not Entourage. You're not hanging out with Turtle and Vinny. You're a creepy old guy that looks like Bigsby from Train Spotting, and no one wants to hear it. Your wife probably doesn't want to hear it. Is he married? Because that's another insulting thing that happens to men when you get older. Like when you get married, like no one hits on you. No one's asking for it. No one's pushing, your buttons or the envelope or whatever metaphor you want to use. But then a real just insulting thing happens. There's other women who they get a lot of unwelcome attention from guys, but when they find out you're one of the safe ones, then they'll open up to you and they'll start kind of being flirty and stuff. It's like, don't be flirty with me because I'm safe, because I'm not going to do anything. What an insult. And I can't do anything back. I don't want to be one of the safe ones. I want to be one of the dangerous ones. I want to be one of the bad guys. Nope, not that anymore. Here comes Bruce again. Is it the Micah Parsons thing? What did we get? Adam Schefter from ESPN confirms. All right, I'm going to look up details on this, and I'll give you the update on the terrible news. Cowboys season over before it even started. And also we have Garrett Folsey from Young Voices coming up next on the James Show. Talk about the new congressional maps here in Texas. 800-288-9227. I'm James Parker on News Talk 820 and 93.3 FM WBAP. Hey there, welcome to the James Show. Let me do that. News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. I am your host, James Parker. Yeah, we're dealing with the breaking news here. It looks like the Cowboys have lost Micah Parsons. He's going to Green Bay in a trade. They've got a lot of info. They got a lot of info on his contract here from Green Bay, $188 million. And this would all the amount that's on there, plus the guaranteed amount of money, all records for non-quarterback contracts. So he's not just leaving the Cowboys for a couple of pennies here. He's leaving to become the richest non-quarterback player ever. John Ingham coming back on the James Show. He's with the Cowboys media team. And, I just talked to you about how I'm, sort of skeptically optimistic about the Cowboys' prospects this season. This does not help, John. Is Ingham there? Ingham, you there? Okay. Yeah, so I'm kind of bummed. How much does this affect the Cowboys' prospects for having a successful season in 2025? Do we know what the Cowboys got in exchange for Micah Parsons? Well, when you're saying 2-1s, you're saying their next 2 first-round picks. So why'd they let him go, John Ingham? I have a feeling there's some personalities that got involved because on paper, this just doesn't make sense. Did he tick somebody off? Did his agent tick off Jerry Jones? What happened behind the scenes? Oh, man, we lost DeMarcus Lawrence on top of that, too. Well, kind of bummed out here. I mean, who's going to take his spot? I mean, who do we even have for defensive ends now? Oh, probably like 6 or 7. Thanks for bringing it up, John Ingham. Yeah. All right. Appreciate it, sir. Thank you very much. All right. Coming up next, Micah Parsons sent a letter out to the Cowboys Nation. That means you. I'll read the whole thing. It's really not that long, but here's a quick little excerpt to sort of tease you. North Texas will continue to be my home in the off season. I'll still be here giving back to the community that gave me so much. And no matter where the next chapter takes me, the bond we've built will never break. Yeah, well, we don't deserve you, bud. You're an awesome defensive end. Really sad to see you go. Seemed like a nice guy, too. But I'll read the rest of the letter from Micah Parsons to the Cowboys Nation next on The James Show. 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. How much of this is Jerry's fault? I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820 and 93.3 FM WBAP. Hey there, welcome to the James Show, News Talk 820 93.3 FM WBAP. I am your host, James Parker. Look, I think even non-football fans get this. You know, we act like these people are just cards, like they're football cards or they're baseball cards, and you can just trade them or keep them, or we don't want him anymore, so we'll cut him, or his contract's too expensive, so we'll just trade him to Green Bay. You know, there's a human being behind this story. And for a lot of these situations, there's families behind this story. This happened with Cole Beasley. Cole Beasley came to the Cowboys, and he's a local guy. He's from like Little Elm or somewhere up just a little north of here. And he was having some contract issues, and he ended up going to the Buffalo Bills. And there were some people that were like, hey, man, you're going to be missed. And there were some people who were just like, hey, man, F you, you're a traitor. It's like, dude, stop it. This is a human being with kids who is now either going to have to spend most of the football season away from his family or uproot them all and move them 8 states away. If you're thinking, well, that's no big deal, he's got money, he can afford it. It's not about the affording it at this point. We have a tiny taste of this in broadcasting, whether you're in TV or radio. How many of us that work here have just had to pick up and move to another state because of our job? How many of us, it might be in your line of work too. You could just be like a sales manager, and they're like, hey, you've been promoted to regional manager. Now you got to move to Houston. That's what it's like. And these guys, they don't want to move. Micah Parsons didn't want to move. Now, he's not from here. He's from Pennsylvania, went to Penn State. But there are some people that show up here and they're just here to get a check, and they don't give a damn about Texas or Dallas or the Metroplex or anything. And they're just here for a little while, and it means nothing. They're probably going to be in another team the next year, and they won't care about that town. They'll probably be in another team the year after that, and they won't care about that town. A lot of people really are just sort of the transient journeyman. But when you have a guy that's this good, he has a chance to be on the roster and to be a face of the team. Micah Parsons was here for the last few years, going into the field, looking around at the Ring of Honor, thinking, if everything goes well, I'm going to be up there. He lost that. He just gave that up. Now, he's going to be compensated well in the meantime. But Micah Parsons being traded to Green Bay, it's not just as simple as, well, he signed a new contract, that's that. No, a whole family is being uprooted and moved. Now he has to go move, and he has to go start all over in another town where he doesn't know anybody, and he doesn't know any cool restaurants, and he hasn't had any birthday parties there, and his mom hasn't come and visited and helped him moved in yet. He has all kinds of connections to this place that aren't going to just easily be replaced when he goes to the next team. Your thoughts on Micah Parsons leaving? I mean, are you blaming Jerry for this? Is it good riddance? Is it something that's so insignificant we shouldn't even talk about it on WBAP? Are you sad to see him go? Do you think the Cowboys will be better off with these 2 picks rather than paying $188 million against your salary cap for the next few years? 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. Now, Micah Parsons, 38 minutes ago, on his X account, we used to call it Twitter, left a letter to the Cowboys Nation. So if you're a Cowboys fan or even just a Cowboys fan adjacent, this is kind of a letter to you. It says, growing up in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, I was one of the few kids in my neighborhood who cheered for the Dallas Cowboys. Oh, stop it. You're going to make me cry. Nearly everyone around supported the Eagles, but I always believed in the Star. To wear the blue and white at Penn State and then carry those same colors into the NFL as a Cowboy, it was more than a dream. It was destiny. From the moment I arrived in Dallas, you embraced me and my family as your own. You made a kid from the East Coast feel right at home in Texas. Every time I pulled up to work, every time I stepped onto that field, I felt the weight and pride of representing you. You didn't just give me a jersey. You gave me a place to belong. We'll rip up the contract and stay here. Can we work something out? Is it too late? Next paragraph. I never wanted this chapter to end, but not everything was in my control. My heart has always been here, and it still is. Through it all, I never made any demands. I never asked for anything more than fairness. I only asked that the person I trust to negotiate my contract be a part of the process. This is a sad day, but not a bitter one. I'll never forget the joy of draft night, the adrenaline of running out of the tunnel, or the brotherhood I shared with my teammates, coaches, and the staff who prepared me for every single game. Those memories are mine forever. North Texas will continue to be my home in the off season. I'll still be here giving back to the community that gave me so much. And no matter where the next chapter takes me, Green Bay, the bond we've built will never break. Thank you, Cowboys Nation, for every cheer, every moment, every ounce of love you showed me. Wearing the star has been the honor of my life. With gratitude and love. Number 11. Yeah, I know. To the phones we go. Fish in Fort Worth, you're on WBAP.
Yeah, I think that this whole thing, it's a football game or a football team and all that, and they get traded all the time. Think about the military who get transferred every year and a half to 2 years, and they don't get to pick where they go. They're uprooted into families all over the place, and it's actually, I was one of them, and it actually turned out pretty good for you. You got to see a lot of things, so I think they're making way over this thing. He's getting paid plenty of money, so move wherever they want him.
Fair enough. That's a pretty good comparison, though. Yeah, for age 20 to about 40, you just get picked up and moved to random places where you have to start all over. It is kind of rough on the kids, though. They don't get to go, like I went to the same school K through 12, basically on the same property. They don't get that, but
I was in a new school every 2 years.
Yeah,
it worked fine for me.
All right. Well, I appreciate you calling in. Thank you, Fish. This is Steve in Weatherford. You're on WBAP.
James, good afternoon. It's raining again. We're having a normal summer. Hey, the Cowboys have won 8 Super Bowls. And Micah, we all love you. We hate to see you go. But let's get back to winning some Super Bowls with or without Micah, okay?
Cowboys have won 5 Super Bowls, but I agree with the sentiment.
Is it 5 or is it 8?
No, it's just 5, dude. It's just 5. New England's won 6. Pittsburgh won 6. We've won 5. Thank you, sir.
But we can win Super Bowls without Micah.
I hope so. I mean, we're going to have to now. We're going to have to figure it out. Thank you. Randy, Little Elm, you're on WBAP.
I got no sympathy for these overpaid, whining punks. I mean, he had a contract. He should have had a year left on his contract. So that means he doesn't honor his word. He gave his word. He signed a contract. If you think I got any sympathy for him to get $188 million that he's going to have to move, it's ridiculous. I wouldn't spend my money to pay for a Cowboys ticket, to pay those overpriced kids. It's ridiculous. That's what's wrong with America today. We pay teachers nothing, and we pay athletes a $188 million contract. It's pathetic.
How many people watch a teacher do what she does? If we put it on TV, would it be the highest rated thing on Sunday night? Yeah.
Why do I care?
Well, look, the economic reality is they're actually pretty appropriately paid. You may think that they're overpriced, and you may lament the fact that that kind of job can get that kind of salary, but they earn it. They deserve it. There's not a whole lot of people who can do what Micah Parsons can do. I mean, there's probably 12 maybe people who can do what he can do as well as he does it. 800-288-9227, 800-288-9227. Donovan's here. Donnie Do from our sister station, The Ticket, and the world's most dangerous midday show. Donovan Lewis. This can't be good for the Cowboys, can it? Yeah, and it's kind of hard to consider this a loss until we see who we get to draft. But we're not going to get great picks out of Green Bay, are we? I mean, they're a pretty good team. We're not going to be near the top. We're talking with Donovan Lewis from the Ticket. The last offer that is reported from the Cowboys to Micah Parsons would have averaged $40 million per season on a 5-year extension. Man, why would he turn that down? Yeah. Okay. So it sounds like we definitely didn't let him go because of his play. He's obviously awesome. That sounds like we didn't really let him go because of money. Is this over? I insist on my agent being a part of the talks, and Jerry insisted on going around the agent. Was there just some sort of personality or I don't know, process dispute? All right, Donovan Lewis, you've watched more preseason than I have. Who does this leave for defensive ends now? Because we lost DeMarcus Lawrence as well. Now Micah Parsons. So we had like one of the best sets of defensive ends last year with those two guys, and now we have neither one. I don't even know who their backups are. Right? Yeah, I probably won't. Micah Parsons, have you ever met him? Like hung out with him, had a conversation with him? Oh, that's right. I missed it. I'm so jealous. Yeah, we're going through it, aren't we, Donovan? Yeah, so in 5 weeks. Yeah, he'll come, you can stay in his house. God, you know who really loves this? And this kind of ticks me off, Donovan. They are just high-fiving right now in Washington, D.C., in Philadelphia, in New York, that they don't have to see this guy twice again. And you could have taken a couple of them guys from Fight Night and have them try out for tight end or defensive end. That'd be pretty good. Well, Donovan, I was cautiously optimistic about this season. Now I'm just cautious. I think I've lost optimism. Bro, I don't even want to start watching the games if we're going to end up 6-11 or 7-10 or I don't even want to get my hopes up or waste my Sundays if we're going to lay an egg this season. Damn. Well, I appreciate you taking some time and on a moment's notice coming on the James Show to help us out with this. This is the great Donovan Lewis from The Invasion on the ticket. Thank you, sir. Jerry, Fort Worth, you're on WBAP. Go.
Oh, yes. Hey, I don't know if who Donovan is. It's been that long since the Cowboys were relevant on the, in the NFL. But I guess he's from the ticket, which I haven't listened to since their failures after they fired Jimmy Johnson, the guy that got everything done before, even the Super Bowl 2 years later that the Cowboys won. It was because of Jimmy Johnson. It had nothing to do with that buffoon over there, the owner, the billionaire genius who knows how to make money, but he doesn't know how to win football, and frankly, he doesn't care anymore. He said it a few years ago that it's not about winning games and championships. It's about technology and access to the team.
Oh, God.
Well, that's a load of crap I ever did hear. There's only one way to be in the NFL, and that's to win games and championships. Jerry.
Tell
Can
him.
we fire him? How do we fire him?
That is way above my pay grade, sir. I can't even fire anybody at this. I can't even fire Garrett. All right, that's going to do it for the James Show. I'm about to go put up the podcast. Check that out whenever you get a chance. Find me on social media and stick around. Mark Levin's coming up next. I'm James Parker. It's been the James Show on News Talk 820 and 93.3 FM WBAP.